You clear the table, dinner's ready.
Watch my trains! Daddy!
What's the problem?
I can't get any piece to play with my train set.
Okay, let's build you a baseboard. Right, what materials do you use? As I said previously, I use plain timber to build the frame. I'm going to use 2x1 to build this next baseboard. And 12mm ply. This is WBP ply, which is a bit more hard wearing than normal ply, but it is a bit more expensive. And you can see it's a nice flat finish. For this baseboard I'm going to build, I'm using a piece of what they call shuttering ply, and this is about half the price of the other ply. It's got a fairly smooth finish on it. When you're purchasing the ply, if you can have a look at it before you buy it, you will probably find that one side is actually better finished than the other. I recommend going to a good builder's yard, timber yard to buy your wood, as it can work out a lot cheaper at places like B&Q and Wickes. Here we have a piece of MDF, which can also be used for baseboards. I don't use it because it tends to absorb moisture and can warp and requires a lot more framework to support it. It's ideal to use if you're using it inside in a dry place, but if you're going to be out in garages, sheds, and if you're moving the layout around from place to place, plywood tends to be a lot more stable. Okay, so what tools are we going to need? Obviously a saw for cutting up the wood. Electric screwdriver is very handy with various size bits. Drill with a 12mm bit, 8mm bit and a 3mm bit. Tape measure, square for getting our corners right, and of course the universal tool always comes in very handy. Right, so here's the baseboard with the framework laid out on it. To assemble it, we're going to use 40mm screws and 25mm screws. The cross members are put at 18-inch centres, and this will give enough support to support the board. So let's start screwing it together. Right, using the 3mm drill bit, we're going to drill some pilot holes. Remembering to come in from the edge, because the screws will be coming in here vertically into the cross members. We drill the pilot holes. In doing so, it stops the wood splitting when we're screwing it together. Right, once you've drilled all the pilot holes 12 inches apart, use the 8mm bit just to go in gently, just to create a small hole to countersink the screws. So when you screw it together, the screws are flush with the surface. Right, place the 2x1 batten in place, flush with the edge of the board, and then using the 25mm screws, screw the batten. Right, there's the long edges attached. Let's do the cross members now. Right, before you fit the cross members, it's always handy to drill some holes in them. If you, at a later date, you want to run some cabling through. It's a lot easier to do it now before you assemble the baseboard. I'm putting these holes at 12 inches apart on the cross members. Before screwing the cross members into place, just draw a line down either side. Lift the member out, and then you have a marking where you can drill a hole to attach this to the baseboard, drilling through the baseboard. With the wood removed and the lines drawn, just put in the holes. So when you flip the board over, you can screw the baseboard to the cross members. Right, here you can see I've marked the centre line of the cross members, so I'm just going to drill some pilot holes. And again, I'll go over them with the larger bit, the 8mm bit, to countersink them so the screws finish flush to the wood, giving a much better finish. Right, with the holes drilled and countersunk, cross member is now in. It's lined up with the centre line, and now we're just going to drill it into place. There we are, and that's it secured. There we have the frame almost complete. All the boards are screwed together. Just remains to flip it over now, and on the cross members screw the actual plywood down to 2x1. Now we flip the board over, you can see the previous hole we drilled when we were measuring the cross members. Now it's just a little squirt just to give them a countersink. Right, with all the holes drilled and countersunk, we're using the 25mm screws to screw the plywood to the framework, and the framework was screwed together using the 40mm screws. Here we have the framework on the baseboard complete. And the top is all screwed in place and it's all nice and secure. So next time we'll have a look at the track work we're going to put down on this 6x4 layout for my daughter's new train set.